Mandy, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
So what'd you think about that doctor's report? A lot of great information, right?
There was. I can't believe how much there is to the spine.
Exactly. It's a very important structure. So just before we get started, I want to kind of reiterate some things and make sure we're on the same page with everything.
Okay.
So as I talked about, the nervous system is kind of like the supreme system, right? It's very important to the tissues, cells, and organs of the body and how they function. It controls, what chemicals get released. It tells your heart when to beat, when your stomach to digest things. You don't have to think about that stuff because it's all part of this innate intelligence in the body and the nervous system. Now, where we run into problems is when we get kind of some fixation in the spine. What was the word that we used to talk about that?
I think it was subluxation.
Exactly, subluxation. So there's 3 ways that we can get a subluxation. You have toxins, thoughts, and traumas. Some of those we can't control in our daily lives, but as much as we can, we do. So the body, 99% of the time, corrects itself, right? That's what it's born to do. But that 1%, when you get that fixation in that normal range of motion, the body has to kind of hold on to that because it wants to stabilize that joint. You start to get inflammation in that area, and so the nerve that's leaving, going to, say your lungs, you might start to run into some issues with allergies or some asthma or things like that, right? That's a symptom of that subluxation. So as a chiropractor, we like to go in, find that area of subluxation, put a specific scientific adjustment into it, and allow the body to start healing itself. Okay? Awesome. So let's get started. And we're going to go over your x-rays, kind of go over the care plan that I've come up, and really kind of dive into what you need, what your body needs, in my opinion, okay? All right, perfect. So this right here is an x-ray of your hips. And so we're looking at the body from behind into this area, your hips and your low back. Okay? And as we can see here, your left hip is higher than your right hip. Ideally, they're going to be perfectly level, so that way there's a nice foundation, much like you have a strong foundation for your house, right? If that foundation's off, your house is going to get weak and you're going to start having issues. So as we can see here, we have a curve that's happening in the spine from side to side. Now, curves in the spine are good when you're looking at it from the side because those act as shock absorbers. But when you have it on this view, going from side to side this way, that's when you start to run into problems. So structures like this, right, every twist and turn, when you're bending down, standing up, sitting for a long period of time or whatever, is going to cause a lot of stress on the tissues and the structures in that area, right? So those nerves are going to start to have dysfunction. So I know that this is causing some pain in you, right? We're feeling that. I know that. But now we're actually seeing it. Okay, so this is kind of saying, this is what's causing that for you. Now, in order to get a structure like this, there's going to be a long underlying cause of this, right? It's not something that you just woke up one morning and all of a sudden it was bad. This has been going on for a long period of time, and so in order to get this correction, it's going to take some time and some repetition. Okay? The good thing is that, looking at this, you still have some healthy disc space and things like that, so it's not too bad. We know you're a healthy young adult, right? You're very active, so that's good. I know that you're going to respond very well to our care. It's just going to take some time and repetition. Does this all make sense?
It does.
Okay, perfect. So now what we're going to look over here is the x-ray of your neck. Okay? So this right here is a picture of what a normal, healthy spine would like, the ideal curves and things like that. And this one here is a picture of your neck from the side. Okay? As you can see in this one, there's a nice curve, which is how it's supposed to be. That's what I mentioned, that kind of shock absorber. So what are you seeing here in yours?
It's more straight, and it's like my head's leaning forward a little bit.
Exactly, right? So you've lost that curve, which again isn't kind of how it wants to be. We need that shock absorber, and when you move your head forward like that, it's like your head's like a 10-pound bowling ball, and so when you move that forward just a little bit, it's a lot harder for your body to hold that up. Okay? So again, this isn't something that just woke up and it was like that. This is a long underlying cause that's kind of made your body adapt and shift in this manner. Now, I don't want to give any, false expectations or anything here. Being under care, we're not going to make things perfect. You're not going to go from this to this because, the body has started to make changes. And as you can see, you do have a lot of healthy disc space. Those are healthy. And then as you get into this area, it's not quite as healthy. Okay, now we can't bring those back and just say, oh, they're perfect. But what we can do is we can, over time, make these corrections, get your curve to as close to perfect as we can, and that's going to improve the overall function in your health. Okay? If it stays like this, and we don't get it back to like that normal curve, you're going to just create more stress on the spinal cord, and this is a very important area for your spinal cord. So every time you turn and you bend down to look up and just chewing and talking and things like that, it's going to put more and more stress on this nervous system and on these nerves that exit out to all the different parts of your body. So we want to try to correct that as best as can. And we don't want to leave them alone. We want to get to that underlying cause, and through some time and repetition of care, hopefully get it corrected. Does that make sense?
It does.
Perfect. So the recommendations that I have for you, we're going to be a care plan that consists of 68 visits over 12 months. Okay. For the first 3 weeks, or I'm sorry, for the first 4 weeks, we're going to do 3 times a week visits. And that's going to be that intensive initial care, because your body's been stuck in this position and it's going to want to try to maintain this. Okay. Now, me as a doctor, I know that by correcting this, it's going to make your health better, right? And that's what we want. We want you to get back with your family and live an up life, right? So we got to tell the body, hey, body, this is kind of how it's supposed to be. So it's going to be a little intense in first and do 3 times a week. For the next 12 weeks, we're going to be able to decrease it a little bit, hopefully, and go to 2 times a week. Okay? So it's still more repetition and more time to kind of allow the body to make those changes. Once we get over those first 16 weeks, for the remaining 32 weeks, it's going to be 1 times a week. And this is going to be kind of just like that maintenance. Okay? We need to still be in there making those corrections and taking care of what needs to happen. So your particular plan is going to be a 48-week plan. Like I said, with the last 32 visits being once a week. Okay? So now as we look at what kind of consists of a visit, it's going to be no longer than 10 minutes. Okay? This is you coming into the office, getting checked in. On my table, I'm going to do my assessment and do the correction. I want to be respectful of your time because I know that you're a very busy woman and you have other things to do. So, but at any time, if you come into the office and you want to chit chat or have questions or we need to do a reevaluation, know that my time is your time. Okay, I'm here for you, but I want to be respectful of your time. Does that all make sense to you?
It does.
Any questions?
Not at this time.
Okay, perfect. So through this whole process of care, there's going to be 3 progress reports and evaluations, and we're going to use our neurological equipment throughout to kind of assess how your body's doing, right? Because if at any time we realize that the care isn't quite what your body needs, then we can make changes throughout. Now, when we're tracking your healing and progress, it's very important that we, like I said, through the time and repetition, stay on this care plan. Because that's going to be what's best for your body. Okay. So now your portion of care through the federal discount program is going to be cheaper than if we went through your insurance. So your rate would be $1,917. There's 2 ways of going about taking care of this. You can either pay it up front, which would save you an additional $213, or you can pay it monthly, which would be $177.50 a month. Okay. Now I want you to remember that this is not a contract, so at any time, for whatever reason, you're like, I can't be under care anymore, don't worry, no questions asked. We'll just kind of evaluate where we are and make sure that we get even. So if you pay up front, which is what the majority of people do, it's easier because you've already paid, and so we say, okay, this is how much care you've received, and we just give you the difference back. Now, the monthly, it gets a little different. We would do an evaluation and see how much care you've received and how many months, and it might come out where I owe you, you owe me, or we don't owe each other anything. It'll just
break even.
make sure we get square.
Okay.
So, like I said, majority of people will pay up front because you can save a little bit of money. About 75% of the patients here in the office are like, yeah, I want to save a little bit more money.
Okay.
And 25%, depending on their care plan, elect to do the monthly.
Okay.
So either way, it's fine. So here again are the two types of plans that you can do.
Okay.
Go ahead and take a look at that and let me know what you think.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Which care plan would you like to go with?
I'll probably do the 75% up front.
Awesome. So you want to pay up front and get
Yeah.
care taken care of.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's great. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take you up front, and Vanessa up at the front, she's going to get you squared away for all of your visits.
Okay.
Now, obviously, it's kind of hard to think about a year out, how visits are, and if we have to reschedule something, that's fine, but we want to get you in the computer so that way we know that you're ready to go.
Okay.
We're going to get you your new patient card, so when you come in, you just swipe in and you're good to go. And once we're all good with that, then I'm going to go ahead and get you your first adjustment today and get you started.
Okay, sounds great.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to taking care of you and your family.
Thank you.
Thank you.